The Lexus RX is undoubtedly the heavyweight champion when it comes to luxury SUVs. And right now in 2026, it's also one of the most stolen vehicles, at least in my country. So in this video, I'm gonna go over why, even with those two facts, this is a car that you should be buying. Okay, so let's rewind a little bit on the RX 350, and I have to toot my own horn a little bit here too, because the Lexus RX was actually my start to the Lexus world. I worked at the factory where they're built in Cambridge, Ontario back in 2014, when the body looked a lot different than it does today. This was still one of the biggest volume demands that model ever saw, even though to a lot of people it looked a little too conservative. The 3.5 liter V6 always was known as being one of the most reliable and smooth V6s on the market. Also, the RX kind of fit that gap where finally an SUV that was useful could ride like that of a midsize sedan, which before the RX, you had to get a midsize sedan to be able to get that sort of ride. So even though those 2013, 2014 RXs today look super outdated, in the used car marketplace, they still sell for really big money and are still holding up really well. In fact, that's the car that got Cambridge, Ontario, the factory in Cambridge, Ontario, to have the Platinum J.D. Power Award so many times in a row. Then we skip to 2016, the boldest redesign in the Lexus lineup to any model at that point in time. In fact, I heard that dealerships across continents had loyal Lexus guests up in arms about this new radical redesign of the RX. It's almost like the R in RX stands for radical. It's actually Radiant, but close enough. Radiant redesign introduced a much bolder, bigger, sleeker, more modern version of the RX, with still keeping that V6 that everybody knew and loved, and now with an 8-speed transmission, meaning the power delivery was a lot better. And also the horsepower numbers got up to close to the 300 range. The space in the back was wider, the vehicle itself was sleeker, especially towards the back, it was more slanted. And at that point, all of those loyal Lexus guests kind of like stopped and were like, oh, is this really what we want? A couple months in, numbers did not slow down. In fact, it introduced a new buyer to the lineup. It was no longer just an SUV for families or retirees, it now introduced a younger crowd. And by the way, those retirees and families still ended up loving it. It also really introduced or reintroduced the F Sport line, because in 2014 and 15, even though there was an F Sport, it was different. It had a different transmission and a little bit of a spindle grille. The RX F Sport in the 2016 and up became even more sporty with that introduction of that big spindle front grille. Yes, you're gonna see all the Darth Vader memes about this grille, but it was well received. In fact, an F Sport Series 3 or even an F Sport Series 2, a lot of times on the used car marketplace, sold for much higher than the luxury and executive alternatives, even though they all have the same features. In 2017, we saw the only change, which was standard safety features, Lexus Safety Sense, radar cruise control, lane departure alert, and pre-collision system. And Lexus stayed with that platform until 2020. In 2020, we saw a much needed refresh to the infotainment and the technology, and things like remote starting from your phone all became introduced. And this was the biggest, I would say, theft chapter for RX up until that point. All of a sudden, RXs, especially the high spec ones, were getting stolen across the nation and shipped overseas. You might be asking yourself, why just the RX? Well, it's a good question, because even the IS or the NX all have the same security system. So it begs to question that it's not really a security issue, it is a demand issue, because those countries across the oceans were selling these RXs for triple the price of a new one, even for one with high mileage. Meaning there was a very lucrative underworld to the RX because they don't break and they're super attractive. And in some of these countries, it's super big flex to have one. So that went on for years. And then finally, it was time to change the RX once again. In 2023, Lexus announced, I guess in 2022, Lexus announced for 2023 that the RX was going to be redesigned, and this time with a much different power plant. Yes, here came the 350 4-cylinder turbo. And if it sounds like it's similar to my NX video, it is. It's pretty much the same power plant. And I'll be honest, working for Lexus, I was kind of nervous. I was like, oh, that V6 was punchy, it was aggressive, it was great, it had a great sound. Now it's a 4-cylinder. And I was a little bit worried, but Lexus said to me, Dustin, just try it out before you make any judgment. And I'm glad they did, because once I drove that car for the first time, I realized, oh, that lower sprung weight, the high revving 4-cylinder, the lighter by 400 pounds or something like that, body and chassis, all this actually became a really fun car to drive. And Lexus introduced things like the 350h, the 500h, and the 450h Plus. So let's dig into those a little bit. So the RX 350 from 2023 and up is the 4-cylinder turbo, and in my country, it's all-wheel drive. This comes with two different lineups. So we have premium, luxury, ultra luxury, and executive on my left side. And on the right side, we have F Sport 1, F Sport 2, F Sport 3. And by the way, certain years don't have the F Sport 1. This meant a great thing for the buyer because you could choose if you wanted sport or luxury and not sacrifice any features, similar to other models like the NX. Multi-pathway, which is always a great thing when you're talking to the masses that be. The turbocharger engine does take premium gas, but it was a lot of fun to drive and became actually known as a very reliable engine. The 350h really seemed to be the winner though, because now we have a very good hybrid system, unlike the 450h in previous years where you had to put premium gas in it and it wasn't actually that much more fuel efficient. We had one that actually made a really big difference. In fact, a 350h RX has the same fuel economy as like a small car sometimes, depending how you drive it. Like imagine driving a Corolla when you could be driving an RX for the exact same amount of fuel economy. That's a pretty big one for the RX. So we have a regular gas, very smooth powertrain. In fact, that generation of hybrid was so smooth to drive that even people who didn't want or care about fuel economy like the RX 350h because of how smooth it was in the city. And now for my favorite one, the RX 500h. It's almost like Lexus listened to what I was saying for years, and that is a high performance SUV. Similar to what we saw with the Benz and AMG or the BMW X5M or whatever they call them. High horsepower, fun to drive SUV. The RX 500 did the simplest math. Let's take that 4-cylinder turbo, strap it to a high performance hybrid system, put some bigger electric motors in the back with a more powerful battery, and have some fun and have fuel economy. But that wasn't enough. A lot of people think it's just the engine that's different. It has a 6-speed automatic transmission. Instead of a CVT, like the other hybrids do, and instead of an 8 or 10-speed like most of the lineup has, a true 6-speed, meaning the gears are longer, it holds those gears for longer between shifts, and it just increased the driving experience. And by the way, it still had that smooth ride that you wanted. So now we're talking big brakes, big power, fun to drive. The only thing it's missing is it doesn't have that snarl of like an AMG. But it looked like it, which is really great. From there, we introduced the RX 450h Plus, which is kind of like, you know, a mix between a plug-in hybrid and still a regular gas car, because you can plug it in, you can use EV. So on those days that you don't want to worry about range, you could just put gas in it like a normal hybrid. And also, when you are just commuting to and from work, you plug it in every night and you can use just electric power. I'm driving the 450h Plus right now, mind you, the NX, but same idea. And I plug it in at work every day and I don't use any gas in between work and home. And then when I have to make a trip out of town, I just drive it out of town and I just put gas in it like I have to. With that formula, a tank of gas can last me a very long time. And also, that was my realization that the 450h Plus wasn't just about fuel economy, it was also about driving experience. Because now we have a car that you can get in and drive and not fire up any engines, have any vibration, you can just put it in gear and go like an EV. And I had someone in the comments the other day say, also the fact that they love it, that they can pre-warm their car when it's plugged in the wintertime. So you just set it on your phone on the app, the car will preheat itself without running because it's electric while it's plugged in. There's all these other great benefits. And this massive lineup, the RX 350, the 350h, the 500h, and the 450h Plus, meant for most people, if you want an RX, there is a way to justify it in your head because one of these will make sense, especially when stuff like the RX 350 has like 10 different packages most years. Also, I forgot to mention that RX 500 introduced Direct 4, which was a new branded all-wheel drive system that delivered the power to the wheels in a way that Lexus hasn't done before. Kind of taking what they learned with things like GR Racing and putting it into that SUV. So all of these to say, the RX has remained the king in the midsize luxury SUV market. Every manufacturer that has tried to go up against it usually gets clobbered by sheer numbers of how many people want the RX. You'll see a business executive driving one instead of a luxury sedan. You'll see a family buying one. You'll see a single dude buying one just so he can put his bike in the back on weekends. It fits so many different people and it still has that 300,000 mile club potential as any Lexus does. And it does all of this in a package that looks super expensive. Like if you drive by a silver or black RX 350 F Sport Series 3, it looks like a vehicle that should cost well over $100,000. When in reality, the starting price of even an F1 that looks the same is much closer to the 70,000 range. So that's a big deal as well. And by the way, that's only new car prices. If you hop on your local Auto Trader or Kijiji or wherever you buy used cars, look at what a used RX is selling for right now. They hold value like it's no one's business, considering how mass produced it is. These aren't limited supply vehicles, and they still hold value like unlike anything else in the luxury market. In fact, I still see 2016s selling in the high 20s, early 30s if it's got the right mileage. I remember when I came to Lexus in 2018 and 19, I was looking at a 2017 luxury package for around 30,000. Now a 2016, all these years later to 2026, is selling for high 20s, even though there's been so much change since then. And by the way, the tech is ancient and it's still selling for that much. And it just shows you that they're absolutely bulletproof. There's not many issues that can go wrong. If you are looking for a used one, my only advice is check the history out, look at that paint, and check underneath for any oil leaks, because sometimes they have a little gasket issue, which is an easy, cheap fix. You just don't want it to go very long without noticing. So there you have it, a quick recap of the Lexus RX. What's kind of current and why it's selling so well, why it gets stolen so much, but you should still buy one, and a little history about it. The only question is, what's next? We know in 2027 the NX is getting redesigned, but we don't know what's going to happen to the RX in 2028. Will it be a full EV, but you still have the RZ? Will they get rid of one of the many multifaceted ways you can get the RX? Will they add horsepower? Will they add luxury? Things like massaging seats and soft closed doors. Only time will tell, but let me know in the comments below what you thought of this video, what you think about the RX, and what you think is to come for the RX lineup.